never really know when it's actually live. Oh, there. Hey,
it says.
it says, yo, yeah. Hey, YouTube. So we have Brad here from Authentic Details. You guys probably have seen him a few times lately. You're probably gonna see him a few more times. Actually, you're gonna see him tomorrow because tomorrow's video has Brad in it again. So we're still not done with the 458.
Still not. We're this close. We're so close.
Yeah, it's coming along. It's every time I see it, I can't believe it's the same car. It's crazy. It like when I bought it, the paint was in condition. Like it had a lot of swirls and stuff. And I'm sure I wasn't super kind to it. Probably didn't do the world's best job of washing it correctly, and certainly all these road trips and rallies did not do it any favors. The front of that car got its ass kicked. So, but it's crazy how good it's looking.
I remember when you got it, I was dying to get my hands on it. I couldn't get over the swirls and everything. I was like, man, I could make that car look 100% better. And I think it is. I mean, I think.
Oh, it looks almost brand new.
The paint is beautiful now, and the engine bay looks amazing.
Thank you, James. You're too kind. Yeah, we what's funny is when I bought the car, immediately you were like, oh my God, you got to let us do something with it. And I was like, well, let's wait till after some of these rallies, because I knew I had, at that time when I bought it, I still had like 2 or 3 rallies scheduled, and then I ended up doing quite a few rallies. So I was like, okay, like might as well at least wait for the rallies to be done before going to town on it. And actually the big thing was, I remember when I brought it to you like right away, and I was like, hey, tell me about the PPF's condition. And you were like, the PPF's good enough, just leave it for now. Since you're going to be going on all these rallies, just leave it. We'll beat the shit out of the PPF and then replace it later in the year or whatever. Well,
I think it's funny because I think I over-ruined you with PPF, because you called me and said, this PPF is shit.
Yeah.
It's no good. And then I look at it, I'm like, that's actually a pretty good job.
Oh, yeah. So let me give you guys a piece of advice. If you hang out with professional detailers long enough, they jade you, because now I go around looking at cars, I'm like, look at that shitty PPF. Look at the swirl marks. I'm such a snob now. You totally ruined me.
You're damaged goods, man.
Yes.
You're damaged goods.
Yes. Well, anyway, since we have you people, feel free to post any comments that you might have about detailing or PPFs or window tint or cleaning the interior, or anything that might be relevant to Brad, because he's an expert and I'm not. So he could probably impart some wisdom upon you. No more Dr. Color Chip. That's right. I am done with Dr. Color Chip. I think he probably does a little bit better job. Am I satisfied with the condition of the Ferrari at the time I purchased it? Well, so, I mean, it was one of the cheaper Ferraris in the country when I bought it. It was only $157,000. And that car brand new was $298,000. So it was a very, very highly optioned car. So to get it at 157 with only 16,000 miles was like, why is this so cheap? And it's because it did have a lot of weird little things like sticky buttons, swirl marks all over the paint. We knew that the paint needed work. We knew that the rear deck lid was the wrong color. Like we could see that. Like the day I bought it, we knew that. Yeah, I know. Only shut up, Meg. Couldn't you? Meg's downstairs. Yeah. Oh, for sure, taking my Viper for paint correction. You should. Like, just make sure you get someone who's going to do it. There you go. There's a question for you, Brad. What's the average?
That's a good question. I'm going to give you a response. It basically varies. I would say just for a typical full front, expect anywhere from $1,800 to $3,000, depending on the car, depending on the area that you're in. If you're doing a full car, I would say expect anywhere between $6,000 and $15,000, again, depending on the area and the car that you're trying to get done. And just for reference, if I had a McLaren that I had to do, that car has a lot of wings and spoilers and a lot more pieces that have to go on the vehicle. So it takes a lot more effort and a lot more film to do that car. So that might be a $12,000 to $15,000 car. versus a Tesla Model 3, which is a pretty simple car to do. You're probably in the $4,000 to $5,000 range to do a car like that.
Stu's there. He said,
What
hi.
up, Stu?
He said, hey, big sexy. Oh, Fred's here. Hey, Fred. So someone else asked, is it okay to do PPF half the car and do the rest at a later time?
Absolutely. We have a lot of our customers do that to break it up, one from a budget perspective, but some people, in some cars, it doesn't even make sense, I think, to do the full vehicle. If you look at the cost of the vehicle and the return on your investment, or if maybe you're just OCD and you just want it perfect, it makes sense. But I would say a lot of our customers do half the car and they ceramic coat the rest or just leave the rest in raw paint.
There's a fun question. If I had more money, what car or cars would I buy?
Oh.
Define
more money.
Oh, hey Bianca. Okay. I love how it's funny because you see people you actually know in person besides the usual commenters. But anyway, Terry, OCD. I know nobody like this.
No, Terry, you're not OCD at all. Not one bit.
What cars would I buy? But honestly, if I only had a limited budget, I would love to have a 355. I just think they just look so classic Ferrari, and the sound is so epic.
The sound's amazing.
Yeah, the sound is just glorious, right? If I had a lot of money, I honestly would start considering the F8. After driving that thing, it's like, whoa, that is one hell of a car. And I think if you threw an X-Pipe and got rid of the cats on it, it would sound epic. Fred. Thanks, Fred. Brad, what is PPF and what are all the different types?
Oh man, that's a broad question. So PPF stands for paint protection film. You may have heard it called Clear Bra. Some people say Expel. But there's quite a few different brands out there on the market right now. There's more coming on, it feels like, every month. The top leaders in the market, I'm going to say, would be Expel and SunTech. Those are publicly traded companies. They've been in business for a very long period of time, and their warranties are great. Their products are great. Right behind them, I'd put 3M. They've got quite a few products in the market. And then you've got companies like S-Tech, Nano Fusion, Ceramic Pro just came out with a PPF. There's probably about 100 others I'm not talking about right now, but there's quite a few on the market. But if you're looking, I would say, look for the top brands. And right now, from what I've evaluated, the best brands on the market are going to be Expel or SunTech.
Any experience with the sprayable PPF?
I don't have experience with that yet. I do know they're doing a lot of that over in London, and I've heard of some issues with it. So I'm still skeptical, but I haven't experimented with it all. You have to get a paint booth and almost treat the car as if it's being resprayed in order to get this work done. You're pulling doors off, that kind of thing, and we're just not interested in taking that kind of approach.
Let's see, what car manufacturer has the best paint in regards to paint correction and detailing?
You know what's funny? I can't say any one car company,
your reaction, by the way.
The ones that are the easiest to work on right now, Dodge. Surprising of all cars is Dodges are super easy to work on.
Why is it easy?
It corrects really quick. So the paint clear coat has a hardness factor. Some are really hard, some are really soft. Like a Mercedes clear coat, extremely hard.
Really?
It's so difficult to get a scratch out of that paint. You have to go at it very aggressively, and usually that finishes out perfect. But if you get like a Subaru or a Porsche, their paint's really soft, so it's very hard to get it finished out without it being cloudy kind of.
Really?
So you've got to go through multiple steps to get it to clear up. But Dodges, your paint is pretty nice to work on. The Ferrari paints are nice. They don't come in very well.
Like, they're from the factory. They look like shit.
They're awful. They're really bad.
Yeah, all these people. We always joke because the Ferrari is from the factory. The paint looks like shit. Like it's just never done well. So if you want to laugh, go to a Ferrari dealership. Go find some cars that are brand new sitting there, which is kind of hard to get when they actually have one new. But if you can see one that's like, hasn't been delivered to their customer yet, and you look at the paint, and you're like, oh my god, like how is this factory?
We've seen them come with sanding marks left in the paint and all that stuff. They get them to a certain point. I think they ship them out. Lamborghinis have really nice paint. You would assume so, since you've got a
Yeah.
lot of, the Audi DNA in those cars. I think that's about it from the top of my mind.
Can I effectively touch up rock chips, or should I repaint?
You can touch up rock chips. There's a unique way to do that, I think. You want to consider it like you're building layers on layers on layers. So start really small and light and keep filling that chip in. And then you can sand it and polish it off. That's the best way to do it. But it does take a lot of work to do.
Sorry, I just read Bianca's post and I was laughing.
What is her post?
She said it's because Mopars are boats. Got to be used to that water. No soft paint. Good one, Bianca.
Yeah, that's great.
By the way, if we miss your question after a couple minutes, feel free to post it again.
Yeah, we're trying to keep up. There's a lot scrolling.
They scroll right past the screen sometimes. We only get about 10 to 15 posts on the screen, and then they're gone. Oh shit! No one went away. Brad, how long does PPF last?
So you got most of them right now are running at about 10 years.
Really?
For the warranty, I wouldn't consider keeping a PPF on a car for more than 5 years unless you garage it and you take extremely good care of it. I've seen them, one, get beat up, but two, after about 5 years, I noticed they're really hard to take off. And that's the key for me, is I don't want to be destroying paint when I'm removing it. You don't have any experience with that, do you?
No, totally never happened to me. We totally didn't have to repaint a whole front bumper.
No. But I'd try to get the film off when it's nice and clear and easy to remove.
Let's see. What do I think about the Factory 5 GTM? Just a random question.
Ooh, I love that.
I want to try driving one.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to tell you without, like, that's the thing, is a lot of people ask me my opinions on cars, and I can only tell you what I've either read or seen, right? So I can tell you what I think they look like, and they look cool.
There's another cool car out there. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called a Falcon, like a Falcon Motors. Look them up.
Oh, I think I have heard.
Kind of looks like a 348 kind of body style, but with a modern look to it. It's a sweet looking car.
Yeah.
It's got an LS motor for the engine.
Use a small paint pen or ductile color chip. You have it. Oh, never mind. Someone's talking about that.
What is the best product to use to clean the engine?
Oh, there you go. The red crackle paint and the Ferrari metal script.
The thing I found the most effective there is high pressure steam.
Yeah.
That's what worked the best. If you give it a little pre-soak with some APC and a brush and just kind of brush it in and steam it clean, that worked really great. Be super careful with that stuff. It chips off or peels off very easy.
Mm-hmm.
Someone came off of Dan's car and we were just air drying it. Didn't even touch it. I never touched it with anything.
Yeah, the crinkle paint, all the
off.
crinkle paint on the Ferraris is like notoriously easy to flake off. Even just washing my car, like when I go dry the engine, you get red paint and shit coming off in the towel. So it's just an unfortunate reality of the paint that they use on those damn things.
Someone said clay bar or
synthetic pad.
I like a clay bar because I use my fingertips with the clay bar to feel the paint. Other people I know like the synthetic pad, but we just prefer the clay bars.
Oh, someone asked, what special directions can you give me on cleaning Alcantara?
I think we went through that. Someone had a question on that video, if you want to go back and look at it. But I try to be very light with Alcantara. So a little bit of soapy water on a rag and kind of rub it clean. And then get some water on a rag to rinse it, if you will. And then get another dry towel to dry it. And sometimes you can use a little bit of compressed air to kind of fluff up the fibers again. That's the short description.
When cleaning sticky interior parts, are you actually removing the top textured layer? And it's, so like, in Ferraris, and actually like Jaguar uses the same shit. The buttons get sticky from high heat. So if you have a car in Texas, they're going to get sticky buttons. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just going to happen. Like, except that's a reality. And so what happens is they put a soft touch coating on all these plastic buttons to make it feel luxurious. And that soft touch turns into like a goo. Now the trick is, if you wait too long and the goo gets like really, really gooey to the point where like you touch it and like it leaves a black mark on your finger, then when you remove it, it sometimes removes the actual paint on the button itself. And so then you have to repaint the button or replace the button. But if you remove it early enough, it doesn't necessarily remove the paint, but then you just have like this weird, Yeah, luxurious goo. Nah. But the buttons then, if you remove the goo, it's just a plastic button. So it just feels like a piece of plastic. It feels like my keyboard. It's just like just kind of not anything special. But if you can deal with that, then that's a cheap way to do it. What would you recommend the old school LeBras?
Oh my God, who's brought that back?
I don't know. Someone it just went off the screen.
I would not. I don't know if you've seen what happens to the cars after they've been on there for a while, but the clear coat actually yellows. They scratch up the paint.
I say they move around,
They
right?
move around a lot. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend those things.
I should try. Let's see. What's my favorite sounding engine? 355. No, I like the V12s better, but
Oh yeah. I mean, Aventador V12 sounds pretty damn good. I like that motor.
I think it sounds like too much. It's like they went too far.
When did they not?
Well, I actually think the Murcielago sounds better than the Aventador.
Mhm.
Like the Mercy to me was like peak Lamborghini. I think,
That's still my favorite car.
yeah, of all the Lamborghinis I could ever consider, that would be the Lamborghini I would want. Geez.
So Tyler asked if there's a way to get light clear coat scratches off by hand. I would get a microfiber towel and some Meguiar's M105 only by hand. Try that first, and then get some M205. But you can pick these up at AutoZone. That's why I'm saying these. There's a lot of products on out there, but these are at AutoZone, and then polish it with M205.
Hey, Meg.
Yeah.
We may have to request a wine bottle
Okay.
because I just killed this one.
Wine delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 second.
Can you dye leather that has lost its color? Yeah, Dan's got experience with that.
Yeah. I used Jay, who runs Just Like New Interiors. He's already repaired the 430 seats. I'm certain I will need him to repair my 458 seats because the bolsters on these Ferraris just get destroyed. But yeah, I don't know exactly what he does, but he puts some material on it and then actually dyes it and stuff. So that is one of those things where I'm like, I'm not touching it. Like, send it to the expert. Jay, come over to my house, please help me, kind of stuff. Actually, I'm planning on contacting him soon because the leather on my binnacle is pulling, and the leather, I'm sure you've seen it in some of my videos, the leather on the very front of my dashboard is starting to get warped and wavy. So that's something else I'm going to do fairly soon. Let's see, what else?
What's up, Zach?
Oh, hey, I recently bought a 458 because of my channel. Woohoo! Well done. Congratulations, sir.
I'm envious of that.
Yes.
I told Dan he's influenced me to do the same.
If I could choose 3 cars, what would they be? This person's list: Nissan GTR, Lexus LFA, and Ferrari 488 GTB. Like, I mean, you're talking like these are the only cars I could have, or it's like I could have any cars. There's no budget. I mean, it's a very vague question. I mean, I have to say, I love the 458. If I had the money and no shit's given, I would buy a 458 Speciale over the 458. I would obviously any of the hypercars, like I mean, a LaFerrari or an F40 or an F50 or
an F40
or an Enzo, any of those.
Enzo, yep, that's another
any of those, right? Or 288 GTO. Hello, thank you.
This is from Dan's viewer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful Cabernet Sauvignon.
It's a Ferrari line.
Is it a Ferrari one? Ferrari. That's why he sent it. Clearly.
That's awesome. Our 430 challenge is legal in MD. Technically,
Maryland.
430 challenge cars are not street legal.
You guys know all the laws about cars
in Maryland.
Yeah, I don't know. They're not street legal. They're not street legal from the
Law.
factory. People convert them to being street legal. Let's see.
This live cast is not a substitute for legal advice.
Disclaimer. No legal advice is being given. Overall thoughts on the new F-Type. I will not own another Jaguar ever. That's my opinion. I hope they get it sorted. That's what I hope. It looks cool. I won't own one. There we go. Brad, which brands do you use for your microfiber and foam buffing pads?
So right now, I'm really liking the Auto Fiber company. If you guys go, they have some of the best prices. And then Rag Company, we use quite a bit of their stuff too. Foam pads. Usually we use the Rupes yellow pad. We don't really have much use for the foam pads. We use a lot of the microfiber pads. There's microfiber polishing and microfiber cutting pads that we use quite a bit.
I got a question for you. So foam pad versus microfiber, like which one should I use and why?
So remember when I was telling you about the paint system?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was saying it doesn't matter the car that's in front of me. I don't care if it's the same exact car built in the same lot, the
Yeah.
same day. You have to watch what the paint is telling you that it needs.
Okay.
So sometimes I have to use a foam pad because
Are the foam pads more aggressive, less
no,
aggressive?
foam is going to be like a smoother, flatter.
So they don't cut as much?
They're not going to cut as much. They're going to leave a flatter finish. There are some foam pads that can cut. There's some foam pads that are so soft that they do leave a fine finish. So for us, it's just about, again, addressing and being prescriptive for what's in front of me and using the foam pad that's needed. But most of the time, that one microfiber pad, the polishing microfiber pad from Meguiar's, I can get.
So it can cut and polish.
Correct.
Damn. I just did the Subaru today.
You did?
Yeah.
No way.
I'll have to show you when we're done.
Oh, I want to see that.
It looks terrible. I didn't do a very good job. But I was too scared to like really.
You know what? I want to teach you. Let me teach you.
Okay. Well, I didn't cut very much at all because I was too scared.
Teach him on my car.
Oh yeah. Meg's car can use
Well, so let's do that.
Okay.
I would love to, and we can do it on a video or we can just do it whatever. But
it. Yeah.
I think that there's a lot.
Because I could get out some of this stuff, but like there was scratches that kind of like the one on my hood.
Mhm.
And like, you know, like, come on, it's my daily driver. I don't really care if I like burn off half the paint, you know, I mean, so I was kind of like, whatever. Anyway.
Well, why don't we do that? I'll teach you, and then you guys can watch, and I'll
Yeah.
show you guys how to evaluate.
Whoa, sorry. It like scrolled a lot. I missed a bunch of stuff. If I missed your question, feel free to post it again. Is it normal for headliner and waves in the dash leather, or is that due to previous owner leaving the sun? I mean, possibly it saw too much sun. It's also a Texas car. My car is a Texas car, so I think heat and sun do bad things to Ferrari, the glue that holds on leather and headliners. So
well, and I think the biggest thing is the UV.
yeah,
That
yeah.
does.
Well, especially on the dash.
So if you could,
Yeah, but the headliner is the heat.
that's the heat.
So that's the glue. So like the glue Ferrari uses, it just degrades. And actually, it's not even necessarily the glue. So like there's the headliner, there's a piece of foam, and then it's glued to the foam. And the foam actually degrades and separates. So what's crazy is you have like the tar paper that's stuck to the foam, and the tar paper is usually still stuck on the roof, but the foam separated. So then your headliner sags. So unfortunately, it's just, you know, it's just a problem. Can you ceramic coat over PPF?
Yes, we do it a lot.
We're doing it on my car.
We do. I would highly recommend it. It makes it easier to clean. You know, ceramic coatings, there's a lot of misconceptions on the market. Ceramic coatings aren't, you know, an ironclad solution to protect your car, but man, they sure do make it easy to keep it clean, and they keep the gloss really nice. So I would highly recommend that.
Interesting question. Someone asked, can you negotiate at a dealership for a 458? Like what percentage can you get them to take off? And it totally depends on the dealership, and it totally depends on the car. So, and by dealership, do you mean a Ferrari dealership, or do you mean like a exotic car dealership? So like my 458 was at an exotic car dealership. It was listed for 165, and I negotiated him down to like 157. I would say that's where it comes in. You have to kind of know the market well enough to know what the car is really worth and determine, you know, how long has that car been on the market? How motivated are they to really get rid of it? It's a mixed bag. So I can't say that there's any one formula of what you're going to get out of negotiating on the car. I mean, sometimes you get like you hear these people who get crazy deals. Like I still won't tell you the price, but the Ferrari Testarossa that we bought was actually from a dealership, and we talked him down over 20%. So, yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
To give you an idea. So it totally depends, right? And it depends on your interest in the car and how much you really want it and all that sort of stuff. So it's yeah. How long should you wait for paint to cure before applying a PPF?
That's a very good question, and my response is going to be to ask your painter. And the only reason I say that is because every paint system that they apply cures at different rates. Typically, for the enamel-based paints, you need to wait between 45 and 60 days. Waterborne paints between 7 and 14 days.
Oh, here we go. I bought Armor Shield 9 for all my cars. I live in the Chicago area. Should I wait to detail and have the ceramic coating until the spring? I don't have any heat in my garage. Yes. Wait until it's like at least 50, 60 degrees. I would say 60 degrees ideally, 50 degrees at a minimum. Most of those chemicals do not like the cold. So you're better off waiting until it gets warmer. I did my car today. I actually ceramic coated it using Armor Shield 9 in my garage on the Subaru. And it was only 45 degrees out today and windy and cold as shit. But I turned on the heater in my garage and got up to 72 degrees. So I waited for that to do the ceramic coating. And it still took the ceramic coating a lot longer to dry than normal. So it took like, I'm gonna say 5 to 7 minutes, where usually it dries in like 2 for the Avalon King. What do I like better, LaFerrari or FXXK? I mean, the FXXK, it's like ridiculous. Let's see, what else we got? Anti-lag for any of my cars. I don't have any turbo cars other than Meg's car. So, and at this point, we're not modifying Meg's car because it's still under warranty and it's her daily driver. So I don't really want to risk blowing up. Yeah. Meg doesn't really need like a 400 horsepower daily driver. She's like, we're going to social work the shit out of the city. Yeah. Let's see. What else we got? Brad, what's the best way to remove shoe scuff marks from hard plastic door panels? Oh, I hate that. Like every time you get out of the car, you kick the damn panel.
So I found a couple ways. One is a magic eraser works really well if it is truly hard plastic. If it's painted plastic, I would do a small test spot to be sure it's not painted. But if it's hard plastic, a lot of times the magic eraser does a great job. If not, a lot of times an all-purpose cleaner will get that stuff off.
My neighbor, Rachel Mitchell, Meg, what's up with your home skillet repeatedly asking about your car? Rachel, you should come by and say hi. Like you've blessed us with your like pies and desserts and chicken. I mean, come get some wine and say hi to the world. I know she's like, I don't want to. Hi. Anyway, did I get rid of the Corvette? Not yet, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, this message got hidden, but it shouldn't have been. Please ask Meg if additional fabric softener or anything else is necessary if you're getting static shocks from wearing a fleece jacket. I don't know why Meg would know. Thank you, Mousetrap. Rachel, no chicken to bring. That chicken was good. I should start making posters. I mean, do y'all want posters? I don't know. I actually, where are they? I have some, but they're meant for members. Anyway, let's see. Is hand polishing a waste of time?
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of it takes a long time. But
it takes forever, right?
There are a lot of times where we have to do it because we can't get a polisher into certain areas. We got to do it all by hand.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Like the vent on the front of my car.
Yeah.
You guys are like, nothing fits in there. We got to like
do it all by hand.
Get in there. What do I think of CNC Motors? I thought it was a very large, very cool dealership. I will probably visit it every time I go out into that area, just to check out the cars. They were very nice. I have to say, for a dealership, they were really relaxed. Like usually, exotic car dealerships get kind of like don't touch the cars.
Is this where you bought your car?
No. That was this is the one out in California.
Oh, where you did the F8?
No. They were just when I was out hanging out with Fred, we just went and checked them out. Oh, Meg's coming.
Well, you've got the open bottle.
Yeah.
Here, hold that. Yeah.
So need some help, Chief?
Priorities, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, Stuart!
Oh, Stu! Stop.
What? What is Meg's car? Meg has a John Cooper Works Mini.
I have a Mini Cooper.
Yeah, but
John Cooper Works
John
edition.
Cooper Works though. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you know the best car detailer in Pennsylvania?
You know the best car detailer everywhere? I've seen people in the videos asking you, I live in random state, in random city.
No.
Who do you reckon?
Pennsylvania.
I don't know.
I'll need to do some research on that one. Who is that?
It was Michael Terry Sr.
I'll see what I can find out for you. I don't know who the best detailer is.
You know, guys, people do ship their cars to Austin to be done by Brad. Just
Uh-huh.
saying.
Oh yeah, like I'm not gonna tell you what, but let's just say some cool things are being shipped to Authentic Details,
Yes, they are.
courtesy of one of my viewers, and we will be showing you said pretty cool cars as they get worked on by Brad.
Yeah. Pretty cool cars.
I'm gonna say pretty cool, maybe even like one of 500 kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm thinking like $3.4 million cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, just you're gonna yeah, some cool stuff.
Oh wow. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
I love people like that.
What? What do you say?
He said you don't know shit about detailing.
Oh, who
I'm guessing he's talking about.
is he talking about us?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Elaborate on that, Tom.
Talking to you.
I mean, you know,
Talking.
I don't know if he's like responding to someone. Anyway, have you heard how much on how well the 458 Spider's convertible mechanism holds up? I've heard it's supposed to be pretty solid. So I don't know because I don't own one. I don't hear of them breaking very often. So I think the hardtop convertible is supposed to be much more reliable than the soft top convertible. Even like the 430 is supposed to be considerably more reliable than the 360. Just I don't know, but I don't look too much into it because I don't actually want a convertible.
Oh my god.
Oh, here we go. This guy's all like, I won Detail of the Year, 1998. 1998, dude, no one fucking cares about 1998. Like they were using like bullshit back then. No, the technology. All right, we're gonna just ignore you now. In fact, I'm probably just gonna.
let's ban that guy.
I'm just gonna,
It's
put
funny.
user in timeout.
There you
'cause,
go. Time out. Time out for you, Tom.
Yeah, no one cares.
I think I was detailing back in 1998, to be honest.
I was in college.
Yeah, I was detailing back then too.
I was running an internet radio station. Thank you, Peter. Do I like the Huayra sound? I do. I don't. It's not as good as some of the
Liquid glass, bitches. Sorry.
liquid glass.
That's 1998 right there.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ryan. Good joke, man.
Yeah,
I
well
got
done,
it.
Well done. Well done. The Huayra it's an epic car. I want to try one, but I think there's better sounding cars. But that's not to say it's not really, really good. Can we ship Brad to College Station for cut and buff on our restoration cars?
Oh man.
Do you do travel? Like what if
I don't
like,
know if I'm shippable.
what if 5 guys had like 10 cars?
Yeah, we'd do that.
Yeah. So there you go. If you want to get Brad to come out to you, get a bunch of cars, line them up, and he'll come knock them all out for
It's
you.
Brad and team.
Brad and team. There you go. Yeah, it's got to be. I mean,
No, only Brad.
Only Brad.
yeah, just
me.
Brad. Everyone else big sexy.
Big sexy, aka Big Sexy. AKA, what'd you call me? Jason Statham with PCF or something?
Terry.
Yeah.
I won the Blockbuster Video Game Championship in 1988.
Woo, Terry.
Woo!
1998 new finish. Yeah.
How hard? Oh, here we go. A real question. Oh shit! Hold on. You just got aborted. All right, Fred. Okay, last question. Brad, we now know the advantages of PPF. What are the disadvantages?
Oh, disadvantages.
Good question,
You
Brad.
know, that actually
Good
is a good question. So there's some things that annoy me a little bit about it. One, you got to be really careful running through car washes. I don't know if any of you guys do that with your cars, but high pressure is not a good thing.
Oh.
If it catches an edge with the film, the water shoots right into the film and it leaves air bubbles. The other thing I don't like about it is if you do get a rock that hits it, it penetrates the film, it leaves a pretty ugly looking mark that almost looks like a rock chip, which you've seen on your
Yeah.
car. But at the end of the day, your paint's protected. So if I have to do an evaluation of whether I would do it on my car, I would say hell yeah, because especially on a car like a Ferrari, you want to preserve the paint and let the film be sacrificial. Sometimes on lighter color cars, you can see the edges, dirt will build up in those edges. That kind of bothers me a little bit, and it's really hard to make them absolutely 100% seamless.
Hilariously, someone asked, "Have you seen the Topaz shop in England?" And I'm like, "Yeah, one of your employees was from there."
Yeah, one of our installers is from Topaz. Actually, he's been with us for quite a while now, and we follow them quite well and talk to those guys sometimes.
Oh, that's interesting. Rick Sue, I heard they take off points in Monterey concours if the car is PPF'd. I guess I could kind of see that when you're doing concours. That's like yeah, that's interesting.
That surprises me. I'd heard the opposite actually.
Oh, really? I don't know. I have no interest in ever taking a car to concours, but it's actually something I'd be curious to find that out. What is your favorite budget detailing product line?
I've said this over and over again. If you want to get the best value, buy the Meguiar's detailer line. There's a lot of other products out there, but I've been using those for so long, and I kind of use that as my bar. And I've had a hard time finding anything that either beats it for the price, or is as good.
How hard is it to get swirl marks out of ceramic coated cars? The good question is, does having a ceramic coat on a car make it harder to paint correctly?
It does in some ways. So some coatings are thicker than others. A lot of times, though, most coatings will be removed with a polish.
Okay.
So
it just blows it right off?
It takes it right off. So if you have a ceramic coating on your car, if you give it a really light polish with a little bit of polish and a foam pad, you might be able to get the swirls out. Otherwise, it's just time to recoat.
What car has the best V10? That is a good question. I mean, the LFA arguably has the best sounding V10 for non-F1 cars, because remember, F1 did have a bunch of V10 cars, which sounded freaking ridiculous. I don't know. I mean, I think obviously like the Huracan /R8, because it's the same engine.
Yeah,
it's a pretty bulletproof engine.
You can drive it every day.
I'm gonna get shit for this, but I actually don't like the sound of most V10s. Sorry, it's true. I just don't. They have a weird sound, but I would say the Huracan sounds pretty good. I actually hate the sound of the Viper V10.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, or I should say, especially when it's got the side pipes. When you got the GTSs with the pipes coming out the back, it sounds good.
That car's so beautiful, though.
Yeah. Oh God.
It's just
a big fucking long front end. Yeah. Sorry, F-bomb. But I don't know. I just don't like V10s as much as V12s or V8s. I think like those are like the two perfect motors, the V8 and the V12. But anyway, all right. What else? What do I miss? What do I miss? When will you do more track time? Oh shit! It scrolled off the screen. I don't know. I was actually. I am intentionally not signing up for any rallies at the moment because they cost a lot of money, they take a lot of time, they're hard to edit, and no one watches them. And when it comes to track days, it's even worse because they're even more expensive. Oh God, this guy is just like, all right, I'm just banning him. Sorry, someone's just being a stupid person. Hide user. Bye. Okay, there. Yeah, I totally lost. V10s don't sound good. Yeah, I agree. What Ferrari you won't drive? What Ferrari would I not drive, I guess is the question.
Mondial.
Mondial. I mean, I still would want it. I actually want to try one.
Really?
Yeah, I think it looks
so much.
It looks not very good. I guess is a polite way of saying it. In my opinion, there are people who think it looks great. But it's still a Ferrari. Like I want to see like, does it really handle?
I would say for me a Ferrari Dino because there's absolutely no way
you wouldn't fit. Oh, yeah. You'd have to chop off your leg.
I would.
Why are Porsches driven exclusively by middle-aged orthodontists with a practice in the fancy part of town? You know why that's so funny? Because you know who owns a Porsche? You know who owns a Porsche, Meg?
Yeah.
Our dentist.
Is he in the fancy part of town?
Yeah. It's funny.
my God.
Are you gonna try and do a review of the C8 when they hit the dealers? Yes, absolutely. I actually really want to do a C8 versus 458 video because they designed a lot of the C8 on the 458. They actually Chevrolet bought some 458s to use as examples when they were building the C8. So it should be theoretically better performing than the 458 is the theory. So I hope so. I mean, it should be. It better be, damn it. Brad, what is your favorite car you've ever detailed? And favorite car you've ever driven?
God, that's a huge. I don't even know. Favorite car I've ever driven? I mean, I liked your 430.
Really?
Yeah,
That raw?
yeah, I like the raw. The
Have you
clutch.
driven a 458 yet?
I haven't driven yours.
Like not on the street.
No.
All right, we're gonna have to.
But something about that
That
clutch,
shift.
the shift, it got me every time.
It is
Just
it's one of those you love or hate.
yeah.
Like you either love the 430 or you hate it. Because it's either like, oh, it's so slow, or you're like, it's so brutal.
Yeah, and so that was I like raw, like that's the thing. Like
Yes.
exhaust, I don't want any exhaust on the car. You know?
Open headers.
Open headers. Well, not open headers, but like, no cats.
Thank you,
straight
Greg.
exhaust. Like that's just the way that I like.
Holy shit!
What?
Someone just gave you $250.
Oh,
That's-
it's
David, come on, man.
Dude, that was funny because
Thank you, David.
you saw it before we did.
Yeah, I did.
Like it popped off a moment later. Dude, David, you were.
Is there a car does that say dread detailing?
Oh.
I would have
Thank
to
you,
say
Sean.
define detailing. You know, I think black Porsche 911s are
Really?
extremely hard to get right.
The fenders and all that.
Well, just the paint. The
Oh, it's
paint
just
on that car.
soft?
The black Tesla, the straight black Tesla Model 3s, same thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I really dislike any of it. I enjoy it. I like the challenge
I like the challenge.
and the result. You know, it's worth it.
I love the 430 video that Jared Garage did when they put on the FABs. Oh yeah. Someone asked earlier. I just remembered this one. Someone asked, "Is an S-line exhaust on a 360 with no cats too loud?" And I would say depends on the person. I personally think no. So here's the thing that you got to remember is when you put on an S-line or any X-pipe for that matter, it actually quiets down the exhaust. We actually just dealt with this with David, who is too gracious and just gave me $250. But so David's car, his 488, we threw on the X-pipe, and it actually was quieter. And David was like, "How is this quieter?" And so you gotta remember, with the X-pipe, the two pulse waves hit each other in the X and actually quiet down a little bit, but they accelerate, right? So when they hit the X, they go faster, but they quiet down, and that's why you get that high-pitched wail, which is why X-pipes are so cool in Ferraris. But it's not as loud as like a true straight pipe car. So sorry, Stu, I'm gonna pick on you, but Stu's 360 has true straight pipes. When his valves are open, it literally goes headers, cat delete, out. That's it, right? If you put in an X pipe, it would go headers, cat delete, X pipe, out, and it actually quiets down quite a bit. So yeah, that's the way to think of it. Is I don't think some people don't want to have that kind of audible noise without valves. But I personally don't mind it, and I'm lucky because thank God my neighbors tolerate it. Oh, here we go.
By the way, Stu, I think I lost hearing in one of my ears because of you.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Brad, ha ha ha. Black 911. I agree. I helped detail one, and holy shit, as an OCD person, it was painstaking.
It is.
Also, of the Porsches, the Cayman GT4 is a favorite Porsche. Yeah, the Cayman GT4 is epic.
That's a cool car.
That is an epic
I
car.
agree. The 918 is still of the Porsches. That's a pretty sweet car to me.
The 19 Spider.
Yeah, I like that car.
I don't like the look of it that much.
That gets me.
I think
like
the
it.
Carrera GT looks better.
Oh well, yeah. Now you're going OG style.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
if I had the choice between the two, I'd take the.
but it's like,
Courage
you know,
GT.
like there's always like the progression, right?
Yeah.
Like the Courage GT came before it, like the Courage GT is clearly like the predecessor to the 19 Spider, and I think the Courage GT they did better than the 19 Spider.
When are you trading for McLaren?
When am I trading for McLaren? Never. I will say the 600 LT is just stupid fast.
Yeah,
it really is.
I was pretty blown away by it.
It is just ridiculous. That is truly, honest to God, it is the first McLaren where I was like, wow, I actually like this car. It's not, and I shouldn't say that I don't it's not that I dislike the other McLarens, like the 720. I've driven a 720, 570, and a 12C. And the thing was that they were all very numb. They're too computery. Like they just, the computer is so interferencing for you that you just, I didn't feel like I was driving. I felt like I was playing a video game. But the 600 LT, like there was so much feedback, in the steering wheel, so much feedback in the pedals. And when the traction control kicked on, it wasn't so intrusive. Like it still let the car get a little squirrely. Like that's what I want. Like we were talking about this. I don't know who. Maybe it was you. I don't know. But we were talking about how like oh no, it was David, because he's got the 488. We're talking about how when you get in the 488 and you stomp the gas pedal, even in the 488, it gets squirrely. Like it moves around. No matter what mode you're driving in, it gets squirrely. And so you have to actually drive. The McLarens, you get in it and you flat foot the gas, and it's gone. It just takes off. And the computer's like, I got this. Don't worry. So yeah. Anyway, long story. Dan, did your brother put money down on the Taycan? So he initially did, and I did a video on it, and he was going to buy one, and then life got in the way, and he is not buying a Taycan at this point. He was going to take a different job and move to a different city, and then that didn't happen. But in anticipation of that happening, he had canceled the order. So I don't know. I'm sure knowing my brother, I guarantee you he will be buying something fun shortly. Here we go. What else we got? Let's see. I'm just sorry. I'm reading. Yeah. Well, so the McLaren doesn't have a locking differential at all. None of the McLarens. So it's all controlled by the computer. And I think that has something to do with it and why its computer has to be so aggressive. Because in a locking differential car, so in a Ferrari, you slam the gas and the differential is taking care of a lot of that work, right? So the differential is managing a lot of the transfer of power to the wheels and the slippage and all that stuff. But you go to McLaren, and a wheel starts to spin, and the computer goes, hold on, let me break this a little bit. Hold on, this one's breaking. I'll squeeze the caliper. So it's a little bit different. Hey, Tim, what's up? Do I know what the Tomo Racermo is? No, I don't. They're talking about Coral. Meg, you're talking about Coral down there?
I'm just having a side conversation.
Side conversation.
So, yeah, whatever. Brad, do you follow any YouTube detailers?
Not really. I wish I had time to watch YouTube, but I really don't have time to watch YouTube detailers. There were a couple I followed in the beginning. I really like Larry Cosilla. I think he's a good dude. He does things the right way.
What about Obsessed Garage?
Obsessed Garage guys. Matt has got his mind on the right place. There's another guy, Auto Fetish, who runs his own detailing business, and a long time ago he did a lot of great how-to videos of some of the basic products you could buy anywhere. But that's really about it. Jeff
asks, what is your opinion of the best dry wash product when you don't have time for a full water wash?
So I like that you put dry wash in quotes. I would use a rinseless wash where you have a bucket of some sort of solution. I like the O&R products. There's a lot of different waterless, or I guess rinseless products out there, but I wouldn't go any further than rinseless on what I see out there on the market. It just makes me nervous. I've seen how bad they can damage the
I
paint.
say I personally, like, I've used some of the ONR stuff and whatever, and I always feel guilty using it.
Yeah.
But now that I've got a PPF, I'm kind of like,
Yeah, if you got film, who cares?
yeah,
I mean,
so,
you're good.
But, by the way, Fred is coming to Austin. So yeah, he's coming. He's gonna do the drive. So if you guys remember, I drove the tank, or I didn't drive it, but I rode on the tank. We're doing that again this year, and Fred's coming. But yeah.
Seriously, Dan, what do you think of?
Oh, seriously, Dan, what do I think of Strymon's Aventador wrap and his 430 Challenge wrap? I hate wraps.
I do too.
I think they ruin cars. I get it, like when you want like something flashy and whatever, like they can do cool things with wraps that you can't do with paint. Or easier, I should say. It's easier to do with a wrap than a paint. But I hate wraps. To be clear, I will never wrap any of my cars ever. Ever. So I just wraps suck. They ruin the paint, they damage the car, they're a pain in the ass. Think about like how much pain in the ass it is for them to install my PPF. And then imagine like doing that regularly with a wrap. Like these people are like, oh, just wrap the car. No big deal, just wrap it. It's like, dude, Brad's working his ass off to PPF my car. It's the same concept.
When vinyl is only rated for about 2 years, that's
Yeah.
number one. Number two, I see it comes up quite often if you don't properly take care of it. And I've never been a fan. So we started doing them for a while, but we stopped real quick.
Meg, why
It was supposed to say Cam Boys. God damn it.
Oh, well, your money's like going in a loop.
Tim asked, where do I find the Meguiar's Pro Leather Treatment? It's actually Meguiar's Detailer line.
I couldn't find
And
it.
I think it's leather cleaner and conditioner. You probably can find it on the Amazon. I'll go look. You should be able to buy it by the gallon.
Oh, that's probably. I wasn't looking. Oh, yeah, there you go. Clayton and Summit Auto Lab, they seem like they know what they're doing. Yeah, I can't speak because I've never seen any of their stuff in person. I actually have met Clayton, really, really nice guy. But it seems like they know what they're doing. And, you know, like if they want to, like, look, I have nothing against people doing wraps. I personally don't want to do a wrap. That's just me. Like, I get it. I get why people want to do a wrap. Like, that's cool. You want a bright color. You want a weird design. Like, fine. That's the best way to do it. And the best part is then you can change it when you don't like it anymore. But I just don't want to do one. Like, I love the very simple single color design of like having a Rosso Corsa Ferrari. Like, it just looks beautiful. I don't need to add a bunch of shit on it to make it look better.
Please don't.
Yeah.
I will say, if you're ever considering vinyl, I mean, make sure you find a really good shop to do it, because there's a lot of really bad ones out there, and the best way to tell a good shop is to look at the corners. A corner wrap. And if you see a corner that's wrapped perfectly where there's no fingers or anything like that, that's one of the good signs that you've got the right shop.
There you go. My friend wants her 911 painted a deep purple. Friends tell me I should wrap it. Is there a chance I could be unwrapped for resale? What do I think?
I know we have customers that have done that, and I had one customer that bought a G-Wagon, and he had it wrapped matte gray, I think, but he bought it in black. And when he sold it, he said the car can come this color or black, whichever you prefer. So it actually opened up the market for him, and that was how he looked at his cars.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Oh, Tim, sorry, Tim's texting me. Oh, Tim says, this is a badass wrap. Let's see what it is. Hold on.
It's an ass wrap?
It's a giant dick. Like a... Thanks,
With
Tim.
jizz all over it.
With yeah. Oh my God, Tim. At least that person has a sense of humor. What is my opinion on the best catback exhaust for the F430?
Ooh.
It's tough. Budget depending, right? Like, I think if you want the cheapest, best one you can get the S line, because I do think the S line on the 430 is one of the best sounding exhausts that you can get on the 430, but you don't have valves. And that's why it's cheap, right? So it's cheap because it doesn't have valves. If you want to spend a bunch of money, the Kreisig sounds pretty epic on the 430. So yeah, if this video was 7 beers long, it's more like we're working
Bottle
on,
and a half.
we're working on 2 bottles. We're at a bottle and a half right now. Does Brad have a YouTube channel?
Not yet, but we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna start documenting your shit?
We're gonna basically. So our idea is that we're gonna start documenting cars from start to finish.
They have Instagram. Go to their Instagram.
Follow our Instagram. We post stories there pretty regularly.
They post a bunch of stories about my car. So if you wanted to see the status of my car, their Instagram is Authentic Details ATX. So go check them out. They actually posted some stuff just a few hours ago. It was pretty cool.
Tim, this is for you, buddy.
What is this?
I don't know if that shows or not.
Oh, that's the
what
stuff.
That's the stuff. It's on the Amazon right now.
Opinion on wrapping your exhaust with heat tape. So I wrapped the exhaust on my 430, and I ran into a problem where the headers. So I actually read an article about this just like a week ago. The headers on Ferraris get hotter than most cars. I don't know why. And so most wraps still fail or turn very brittle on Ferraris. So if I was to do it over, I would say heat blankets on the headers is probably a better solution than wrapping the headers. But as soon as you get further down the exhaust, you can use the wrap. I did that on my X-Pipe, and actually it looked really cool. So I'm not opposed to it. I just think you want blankets for the headers themselves. Best DIY ceramic coating.
You know of any?
Avalon King.
Yeah.
bit.ly/NGS Avalon. And use the code NGS25 and you get $25 off. They're really good. No, seriously, it's a really good product. That's why. So, like anything that I push to you guys, I believe in and use myself. So I do think the Avalon King is a very good consumer grade ceramic coating. Like he has access to stuff I can't buy. And so if I could, I would. Like if I could go get the stuff you can, I would probably buy it and do it myself, but I can't because a lot of these companies don't sell directly to consumers. So yes, Avalon King is really good. But
wish I was bald so I could hang with you guys.
Oh yeah, I know. Right? This is the bald crew.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, Josh.
Big sexy, man.
Big sexy. Jason Statham with PPF.
Oh yeah. Stu brought up a good point. TurboSource in Minnesota can wrap your headers or exhaust or whatever in Inconel, which is really good stuff. I will give you a slight caveat, which is wrapping your headers in Inconel makes them really hard to install. So for some of the people that are leaving, not everyone can afford a blanket, Stu. Yeah, I know. Inconel is not blankets. Yeah, it's not the same. It's different. What do I think about DIY ceramic coatings? They're fine. They're great. I mean, they don't. So I would say none of the consumer grade ceramic coatings seem to be as powerful or long lasting as the stuff that you can get.
Yeah. What have you gotten out of yours? About a year.
I think you can get, so Avalon King claims 1 to 3 years, and I've been getting about a year. I think the Texas heat kicks the shit out of them. Also, I've only been putting on 1 layer. So I think if I was to do it again, I would put on 2 or 3 layers. And I think that it would probably get 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Because your stuff, you could get years, right?
Some of them were 7 years, depending on which one you pick.
Like legit 7?
Legit 7.
Damn.
And the coatings we use are pretty underrated. I've got 1 year coatings lasting 2 or 3 years.
So I don't understand why they won't sell that stuff directly to consumers.
Well, it's not easy to install.
Really?
If you mess up, that's it. You have to basically polish or sand the whole panel down and redo it.
Oh, really?
It's not as easy as probably some of the coatings you guys use, or even the products we use. Some of their basic 1 year coatings are really simple, like a wax or sealant to put on. But
yeah, I would say Avalon King's so easy.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Okay.
And there's others that are not. So I think you need to be trained properly to remove them, or you'll have a big mess on your hands.
Someone asked, how did Meg and I meet? Through cars, actually.
Well, that's interesting. How's that?
Even though she's not into cars, we had a mutual friend who was also into cars. Her name was Becky. I had just broken up with my girlfriend. Megan had just broken up with her boyfriend, and Becky knew both of us, but didn't tell us that, about each other. And Becky took Megan out in her Sebring convertible.
Oh my God, I remember that car.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, that's not a good car.
So back in my hometown, we used to do cruising, where we'd go drive around and hang out in parking lots and do car stuff. And I was a regular at that scene. Well, anyway, Becky brought Megan out to cruising and introduced us, and that's how we met. Did the F-Type work well with the Quick Jacks? I don't know if I ever actually did have to do that. Oh, good night, Fred. See you.
Are there any problems with tinting polycarbonate glazed glass?
What? What is polycarbonate glazed glass?
Yeah, I'd have to talk. So I have a tint guy that has been tinting for, 12 years now, and he's encountered just about every type of glass. We recently did a GT3 RS, which had the Gorilla Glass on the rear quarters and the rear window. And the only challenge that we know of is that removing it, you've got to be extremely careful or you'll scratch it really easily.
Oh, really?
But tinting it was pretty straightforward and not really a big deal.
What do you think? 3 more questions?
Sure. Yeah, we an hour in.
It's 9 o'clock.
Wow,
I know, time flies, right?
it does.
All right, three more questions. All right, there we go. What's the best window treatment for anti-fog and beading? Rain-X, or is there something better?
Anti-fog, like is on the inside or the outside? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean,
So you can ceramic coat the outside, right?
or the inside. You can do either.
You can ceramic coat the inside?
Yeah,
Does it help it from fogging out?
I've never tried it. So I may have to try it and see. I don't really know.
Huh.
The best thing you can do to keep from anti-fogging is keep your window really clean.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
Here we go. Choice between Tubi, Top Gear resonated type, or Capristo, or test pipes. So here's the weird thing: is the Capristo, I would say, depends. So like the Capristo on the Testarossa or the 355 sounds absolutely epic. I would say the Capristo on some of the later models, I actually don't like the sound of it. Like Ferrari changed the exhaust design starting with the 360. So like the 348, the 355 had a totally different exhaust design. And I think the Capristo sounds really good on those cars. I don't think the Capristo sounds very good, for example, on the 458. It's a different engine design, different exhaust design. So test pipes are unrelated, right? Test pipes are just removing the cats. So, do you want cats or not? Do you want it to be really loud or not? And then resonated type exhausts, it depends. Like there's some good ones, there's some bad ones. I don't know. Let's see. What do I think about lowering your 458 an inch or two more? Fuck no.
It's pretty low now.
It's already
That's the
low.
limit.
I would never lower it any further. It's already scraping a lot. What brand of test pipes? I mean, any of them. I mean, test pipes are like the one part that I don't think really matters at all who you buy it from, because it's just a pipe. Like the headers matter, the exhaust matter, the test pipes, who cares?
This is a good question. How often should I clay bar?
Oh,
So clay barring does mar the paint. It does scratch it up if you're not careful. So I would say feel your paint. Once you feel it, if you feel some of the rough texture or whatever on the paint surfaces, it's time to clay bar it. But I wouldn't consider it a schedule thing. Just see how your paint feels and act accordingly.
what? All right. I don't even know what that means. I have an acting question. What What does LA stand for?
Los
He's making a
Angeles.
joke about you guys being celebrities.
We're celebrities.
Oh, we're celebrities.
It
Oh.
wasn't a good joke.
All right. What is your opinion on the Ferrari Super America? Never hear anything about it and personally love the look.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy.
F12 and Lusso, I'd put them in the same category. They never get all the attention. I mean, if you like the Super America, go for it. It's a reasonably good car. They're expensive now because they're not common at all. It has that weird roof that just kind of like flops back. I think I personally don't really like the look of that roof. It looks kind of strange to me, but if you like it, good. F12 and Lusso. Well, you hear lots about the F12. The Lusso you don't hear much about.
Probably F12.
Yeah, I've driven a Lusso. Yeah, the F12. Here's the only thing. I used to think that the F12 and the A12 were really badass until I started to hang around one, and then you realize it's a big car.
Yeah, they are.
They're huge.
I'm a big guy.
Yeah,
That's why I like them.
I think they're too big. I personally don't like the size of them.
If you don't have a machine polish, would you avoid clay?
Let's see.
No, I wouldn't. So someone said if you don't have a machine polisher, would you avoid clay barring if needed? I would still clay bar my car. Just use a very mild clay.
All right, let's take like two more, right?
Two more.
Two more. What type of ceramic coat product do you use? Sorry if you answered already.
Do I use? We use Fine Lab,
Oh yeah.
and they have a whole line of products that we've been very impressed with. I tested a lot of different coatings. I Franken coated my own car and just kind of treated it like crap to see what would happen. And they were the one that stood the test of time. So that's who we went with. Pretty straightforward.
Like, drink another bottle. I don't need to get totally fucked up.
Yeah, I still have cars to work on.
What do I think of the new NSX versus the old one? Oh boy. I don't like the new one.
I love the old one.
I love the old one. I've driven the old one. I haven't driven the new one. So I can't actually say much about the new one because I haven't driven it yet. I don't like the look of the new one. And I think they priced it way too high. That's my biggest thing about the new NSX is I think the original point of the NSX was, hey, we built a car that was as good as a Ferrari for half the price of a Ferrari. And they come up with the new one, it's like, hey, we cost almost the same as a Ferrari and we're not as cool as a Ferrari. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, it's got like a shitty sounding engine. So, anyway. All right, one more question. One more question, then we're going to wrap it up because, well, yeah. An American woman designed the new one? Okay.
Oh, that is
Oh, that matters.
fun stream.
Fun
Thanks, Joe.
stream. Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Give us a question. Who's got a question?
If you had a chance to buy a Speciale, would you get it? Well, yeah.
I actually wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
No, I would not.
Oh,
wanna-
and M430. Yeah, no, I agree.
You know why I wouldn't want to buy a Speciale? Because I would put a lot of miles on it and kill the value of it. I would lose my ass on a Speciale.
You would have so much fun back there.
I would. Have I think about tuning or get twin turbocharged from an underground racing? No, I will never, ever. So, okay, let me explain to you something. If you own a 458 and you turbocharge it, you now have a 488.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just go buy the 488? It costs less. It would cost less to go buy a 488 and tune it than it would to put an underground racing kit on a 458 and kill the sound of the 458. It's a stupid idea. Sorry.
What do your neighbors think about the buddies parked in the middle of the cul-de-sac?
Where is that? They actually so first of all, it's actually legal to park in the middle of the cul-de-sac in Texas. I looked it up because I was like, we do this a lot. Is that even legal? It's legal. When we have like a bunch of Ferraris in the cul-de-sac, the neighbors all like come out and take pictures and stuff. They're like, this is cool. So they've tolerated all this stuff. Do I like the look of the older Corvettes or the newer ones? The newer ones. Not even close. All right, here we go. Last question. 430 Scuderia, both a daily driver or a collectible car, whatever, my thoughts on it.
Mm.
I mean, the Scuderia is like, I've only driven one Scuderia, and that was the one that was converted to a manual transmission by EHE, and it drove amazingly well. The handling, all that stuff is epic. I would say they built a lot of Scuderias, even though it's not a high production car. They still built like 1,500 of them or something like that. So I don't think it's as collectible as people think. I think they're really good. I think as a driver's car, if you're in track and stuff, it's cool. But the thing about the Scuderia is, if you're gonna drive it on like road trips or rallies, it's brutal. Like there's no sound deadening. There's no sound materials. It's a rough car.
More raw.
Yeah, it's very raw. Yeah, Brad would love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I personally am not that infatuated with the Scuderia. I think a lot of people love that car. I personally I'm kind of on it. It's a great car. I just don't have a lot of interest in it. Stu asked, how much to PPF is Macan GTS?
How much of your Macan GTS do you want to PPF?
Yeah, good point. Stu, quick respond. Do you want just the front clip or do you want the whole thing? Someone asked, what Ferrari can I replace my Scud with that will give me this unrefined driving experience that compare without turbos? I mean, if you want it to be fast, go with the 458 Speciale. If you want it to be slower, any of the older cars. Oh, Stu says just the front.
Just the front. So you have a Macan, Stu, which has one of the hardest hoods to do in the industry.
Really?
Oh yeah. The hood's one piece. It's a clamshell. Those are the headlights.
Oh yeah.
So we typically would charge $2,400 for that full front.
Oh, there you go. $2,400, Stu. Confident. Yeah. Someone mentioned. Check out authenticdetails.com. Mention my channel if you're gonna buy any services from Brad, and he's gonna hook you guys up with 10% off.
Yeah.
So Brad is the shit.
Take care of all you guys.
Seriously, I don't trust anyone else touching my car to do any of this stuff except for them. Like I guess I've been hanging out at their shop for like basically.
So to be fair, Dan is a skeptic. Like it took me, I had to earn.
Oh yeah,
actually
that's a good story.
To you.
So you guys realize back over a year ago now.
Yeah.
Over a year ago, Brad contacted me. He was like, "Hey, we would love to do some work with you guys and blah blah blah." And I'm like, I'm not really interested. Seriously, I was like, no, I don't know, because I didn't know them and I didn't know about their work or whatever. So he was like, tell you what, how about we just like chat and we talk about some ideas and I'll show you some stuff and let's go from there. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we met at Cars and Coffee and we started talking and I said, look, here's the problem is, I'll be honest, PPFing and paint correcting stuff isn't really easy to make good content because it's kind of boring. It's sexy when it's done, but the process of doing it takes forever. Like it takes them hours and hours of work, right? So from a YouTuber's perspective, I'm like, I don't want to film hours and hours of buffing cars and putting on PPFs because it just doesn't make a whole lot of good video. So he said, well, what if we taught people what's really look for on a good or bad installation on this PPF? And I said, holy shit, that's a great idea because I like people are spending thousands of dollars. You're spending literally thousands of dollars to get a PPF, and these people don't even know what they're getting. Like, and that's what's crazy is, so if you go walk around at Cars and Coffee, and after you talk to Brad, you start looking for these cars, and you look at the PPF installations, you look at the paint corrections, and you're like, oh, that's horrible. And you'd be like, this is done poorly. This is done poorly. This is done poorly. Oh, that one's done well. And it's like, until you're educated on it, you don't really understand how bad. Oh, all right, I'm gonna ban this person. Sorry.
I think for me, I was so frustrated that I saw so many people paying thousands of dollars for the
Oh,
work
wow.
that I saw on some, and these are very nice. I think the one I showed you was an 812 Super.
It was, yeah. An 812 showed up at Cars and Coffee, and so Brad, like, we had to make sure the owner wasn't nearby to like get pissed off. But Brad's like, look at this problem, look at this problem, look at this problem, and like, it just totally opened my eyes. I'm like, oh my god, like,
In no way was I bashing the installer.
No.
They were basic things that any PPF installer should understand to do properly, like alignment. There were simple things, and I'm like, it just bothered me a lot that I saw so much of that on the market. We saw a lot of it come back to our shop. So I had told Dan, I said, hey, why don't we just help your audience understand just what to look for so you guys can make an informed decision wherever you are in the US. And I think that's what.
yeah. And that was the original. That was the original video that we did. Was like, hey, let's just teach people. That was the point. And so since then, he's ruined me. And now I'm a snob about PPFs and paint corrections, and I look at cars, and it's funny because until someone really educates you on how to look at these cars and how to look at the paint and how to look at the PPF, you can't really appreciate it because you don't know what's good or bad. And that was the whole point. Was like, Brad was like, look, this is what's good, this is what's bad. And it's not to say that there's not different standards, right? But like, if you see the lines, obviously, if you see like, blatant flaws in how they installed it, it's like, and someone paid thousands of dollars for it. It's like, what the hell? Like, so that's what bothered me. Is like, anytime you get a service done on your car, you have certain expectations based on what you're paying for, right? Like, if you pay the bottom dollar, you kind of have low expectations. But PPFs and ceramic coatings and paint corrections are expensive. And some of these companies charge thousands, if not even tens of thousands of dollars, and they're doing a shitty job. And I felt like, all right, they're just fleecing people. Like, they're not doing a good job, and they're just taking their money. And I felt like you and your team have this expectation of excellence.
Yeah.
So like, I was at their shop pretty much all the last 2 weeks, like almost every day, as they're working on my car to film it and talk to them or whatever. And they would be like, oh my God, we got to redo this. And I'm like, what? Like, that looks fine. They're like, no, that's not fine at all. Look at this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they'd be like, look, right here, right here. And then finally, like, you'd see this tiny, like, microscopic imperfection that if you looked at it like that close, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I see something. Like, yeah, that's unacceptable. It's bullshit. We gotta redo it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's the level of attention to detail that you want. When you're spending this much money on a service like this, that is what you want.
Yeah.
So anyway, I know it's a very, very, very long story, but that's how I've become a snob, and I'm now passionate about it, and you ruined me, and I can't go to Cars and Coffee.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, anyway, I think that kind of wraps it up. We've answered a lot of questions. Cars and Coffee is this weekend. My car will be there. We unfortunately won't have it totally done. So it's taking longer than expected because they're doing a ridiculous amount of stuff to my car. So it will be mostly done. The PPF will be on. It's been ceramic coated. It will, or I should say, it will be ceramic coated. It will be PPF'd. It has been paint corrected.
Engine is detailed.
Engine is, oh my God, the
All
engine.
the carbon fiber has been polished in the engine bay.
Yeah. So they've done a ton of stuff. The wheels will not be done yet. I will not have new tires. And the suspension will not be done. And the interior, I'm guessing PPF.
Yeah.
So
That may or may not.
we're actually going to PPF the interior of my car. Yeah, it's pretty badass. So anyway, we're going to have it there at Cars and Coffee this Sunday. Also, Frankie, who has my 430, my old 430, he's coming. So that's going to be there. So that'll be cool. I get to see my old 430. Oh, Meg's coming up here. She's got something to say.
Well, no, I was just going to say goodnight since you guys were wrapping up.
Okay.
Oh, and this Saturday is my review of the McLaren.
Oh yeah.
if
So,
you're interested.
so tomorrow we've got another video of Brad's fine team working on my car. So look forward to that. It'll come out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And Megan has a review of David's 600 LT, which I was previewing to David, and he was cracking up. So I will.
Which I
tell-
heard as well. It's
Yeah,
pretty funny.
it's-
it's pretty good.
Saturday's video is epic. Not that I want to diminish you. So watch Friday's video.
Oh yeah, no, I shouldn't be.
Watch
I'm
Friday.
not even interested in my self promotion of myself. Watch Brad's video.
Yeah, please.
But watch mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, don't watch. Whatever.
Watch Friday's video. Watch tomorrow's video. But then Saturday's video is pretty funny. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching. We're gonna kind of wrap it up here. So again, thank you so much to all of you for watching and subscribing.
Cheers
and,
to empty glass.
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
We're pretty much done.
Yeah.
So thank you, Bianca. You guys are awesome.
Night, Tim, Fred, Stu, Jeff, Bianca,
Yes.
everyone.
And happy Friday. Tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's Valentine's Day.
It is Valentine's Day.
Oh no, don't worry about it. I don't
Okay.
care.
Anyway, see. Oh, hey Jeff. If you're available, we're thinking about maybe reviewing your car this weekend if you're around.
Jeff, can we review your 355?
Megan and I want to review your 355, Jeff.
Yes, please.
Because the sound, we got it. Anyway. All right, guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night. We'll see you soon.
That's cool.
Oh